Hey everybody, welcome to our fifth digital live of the fall 2025 segment. I'm Zach. I'm a field manager here with the Digital Summer Clinic, joined by my co-host Lale. And today we have a very special guest, an intern from the past summer, and that is none other than Avery Miller.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And thank you, Avery, for being here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll get to them during our Q&A section. So, Avery, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and some of your professional experience?
Yeah, so professionally, I have been working for about 4 to 5 years now. I work a lot in graphic design and marketing. I started off working for Real Estate One, working in buying and listing catalogs, which is what realtors hand out to potential buyers and listers of houses. And then from there, it just kind of bled into other aspects, such as working for now a sewing and innovation company where I do marketing over there, and also this internship that I had this past summer at Cargility. And currently, right now, I'm also a student at the College for Creative Studies, and I'm getting a bachelor's there. And my main focuses right now, which hopefully will lead into the industry one day, is 3D marketing with 2D motion graphics background. Nice. So, yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. It seems like you got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of skills that you're learning. So, yeah, super happy for you there. That's super cool. It's really great to have you here, Avery. We just have a few questions that we'd like to ask to get for us to get to know you better as well as our audience. So let's kick things off. So our first question for you is, what projects did you work on with the Digital Summer Clinic internship over the summer, and what's it like working with a startup company?
Yeah, so to answer that first question, I would say there's probably like 3 big things that I did with Cargility. So to start off, Cargility is a company that creates a device in order to help people to get in and out of a car easily. They're an empathetic company in general terms. For this company, they started out not that long ago, and they're still under product development. And so what myself and another intern worked on for the majority of the summer was doing mostly the buildup of their company when it comes to visual and verbal branding. So the first really big project we worked on was the brand guidelines, which really laid out the new color scheme that helps push the empathetic response more for customers, and also getting their verbal tone down, showing that we are people-centered first and whatnot. Furthermore, other things we worked on, which was super fun, was marketing assets. So obviously, in order for a new company to get known is to create content or to share with people. So that includes both like printouts and things to post on LinkedIn. And so what I would do specifically is I did a lot of graphic design, including illustration. So I would illustrate a lot of drawings of people either using the device or the aspects of the device, which are different from other competitors and whatnot, in order to be able to show what the product was before it was fully developed and whatnot. And then finally, the last facet of what we did, which was pretty big for the company, is that we created their website. They had a landing page before, but because it had the old branding with it, it wasn't as strong and it didn't really push their voice as well as they would have wanted it to. And so the intern and I, what we did is we went through, took all those brand guidelines and what we learned about the company, and we were able to make a multifaceted page website in order to describe who they were, what their story was, what their mission was, and how they can help you. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of things going on at the same time, but I learned a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that with us. After we were in the same cohort every week, I would always gradually see your new designs, and they were so good. And I know it can be probably hard trying to create designs for something we don't really have something to look forward to, because you said that their product wasn't developed yet, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so you did a really good job conveying the message with just your illustrations alone. So that was exciting to see. So what would you say was the most rewarding part about your internship?
Yeah, I would say overall, I think the connections that I made, because they're a human-based company and they put people first, they not only push that as a company, but they were also like that just as people in general. Mm-hmm. And so it was a lot of fun working with them because the feedback they would give was positive and reinforcing. And so it was helpful to be motivated to keep working for them. And furthermore, they they've just been really helpful for like me personally when it comes to professional development, because they've offered to be mentors and help me to boost in my career, which was really helpful. And then in regards to the external outside of Cargility, when it comes to just the digital summer clinic in general, I think the most important thing was those weekly meetings that we would have on Thursday nights, if I'm correct. Those were super helpful because there was a lot of professional development items, such as like resumes and projects that you show off that I had really no idea how to do in the industry. I knew how to be an artist in that way, but not as a businesswoman in that sense. So that was super helpful.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that's super good because like, you know, in any realm of like business, I think an overlooked part is just the people element. Like usually it's just like, you know, HR is kind of just that like throwaway you know, part of it. And it's like, no, it's huge. You need like you need to foster a good community. You need to foster a good culture. And more than that, you need to develop, you know, your personal skills and your personal brand and all that. And it's just super important. And I'm glad you touched on that. And yeah, I agree with you that the Thursday meetings, I learned so much at the Thursday meetings because they had different topics every week. And it was just all like some form of business, you know, it just,
Yeah.
it was super cool. It was super cool.
Yeah, I always looked forward to them. It was never like, oh, I have to go down to Ann Arbor because I'm a state fan, so sometimes a little contradictory. But I genuinely learned so much from those meetings. They were great.
Well, if it makes you feel better, we were in Ipsy, not specifically Ann Arbor, so you know you weren't necessarily parting ways with your team.
Close territory. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, for sure. So our third question, and before I get into it, I'm gonna preface this by saying you're still like with your company from over the summer.
Yes,
so
I am.
how is the internship like? How is the internship and the skills you learned during it like set you up for success following the clinic?
Yeah, so now that the summer clinic has ended, the internship continued under a different program, and it's been a lot more lax now that we've had all of the main foundational stuff solidified. But with that in mind, through all of this, it's really helped me as an artist, which is a very important thing to be, is to be consistent. So obviously with a brand, you have to be consistent. You have to recognize them off the street. You can't be like, oh, that's whatever company. I had no idea they were using those colors or those graphics or imagery. But through Cargility, because I have to be consistent with brand, it has translated into other work I've done, which is super helpful. And furthermore, like I'm using that, obviously that skill with the internship as I'm still working for them, still creating graphics for them as they update their product and they give pitches in order to win grants and whatnot, which is going really well for them. And I'm really happy to be able to participate in helping in that way. So yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, for sure. So now we're going to turn it over to the Q&A, and there doesn't seem to be any questions in the chat, so that's okay. I just have a question. I know you're in like freelance, you know, freelance graphic design, that type of stuff. So just tell us a little bit about that, how you got started, kind of where you're at, like, just give us a rundown.
Of course. So probably similar to a lot of people's stories, for how it started for me was a lot of word of mouth. So when I was younger, not like young, but when I was younger, I didn't really have the connections into the higher networks that I do now. And when I started back then, it was a lot of like friends and family who would ask for things that would be, I guess it was good enough apparently for them, which I'm glad about, that other people would see it, such as their friends and their coworkers, their businessmen. That's how I would get more jobs from there. Can you repeat your question? I feel like I'm forgetting some of it.
The only part was just like, what is like, I guess you kind of answered it. You said how you got started and kind of like how it's going.
Oh yeah, so I also never said no, so that was one thing. When you start, you can never say no. I'm struggling with that now because sometimes I do say yes when I do need to take care of myself physically. But Lord graciously, I have the time to do things, and I'm grateful for that. But yeah, I guess just being positive, and people, it's one thing to have a nice portfolio, but it's another thing to have a good personality and be able to work with you. So I feel like that's been helpful also, just being personable to people and like flexible with working. So yeah.
those personal skills again. It all comes down to that in business. It's all
It does. Yeah.
all networking. It's all that type of stuff. So yeah.
I agree.
All right. So before we wrap up, I just want to say thank you to everybody who joined our digital live tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here, Avery, and thank you everyone for tuning in. Our next digital live is on October 27th, so we'll see you guys next week at 5:30 p.m. Bye.